And now, the conclusion to Drunk as a Skunk. Your host, Big G. Hello, how are you? This is me recording the rest of the other video. Had two issues earlier. One was this flipping technology, which does my nothing, is decided to stop. And my stomach decided to go. So I had to run to the loo. I felt while sitting there like Obi-Wan Kenobi, I seemed to be having an attack of the clones. So got rid of them. Felt like my dinner went through me quicker than Thomas the Tank Engine could. And definitely was sitting in a deja vu mode. I'd been there about 10 times today. So honestly, there can't be anything left of me. So coming back to our story, just to finish it off, our lady is in recovery. She has the support of family and friends. She's doing well. She does struggle from day to day. The desire to drink is still there, but she is sober and she's happy. She has her lifestyle back and she's doing really well. And that is an awesome thing to hear, someone who has got their life back on track. But as we know, the alcohol and drug addiction are things that probably a majority of people who have been abusing it do not have the happy ending. They actually have miserable lives, and for a lot die far, far too young. I lost my cousin to alcohol abuse, loved him dearly, but he just had that desire to drink that never left. And as I say, there are lucky ones, but sadly there is many, many, many who have succumbed to these difficult addictions. People use, I suppose, alcohol like they use drugs. It's to empty their mind space, to either give them a high or the forgetfulness of them that takes away the reality that surrounds them, and they just have this joy and happiness that they never have what you would call in real life. The drink seems to camouflage that and take it away, and many people come to be addicted to drink and drugs for difficult reasons. You know, it could be enjoyment that goes too far, sicknesses, depression, breakage of marriage, losing a child. There's so many different reasons that people do become addicted, and to be honest with you, I do understand it, because just to clear your mind, even for sometimes half an hour, is amazing. But sadly, the long-term effects of abuse is appalling to see in people's lives, and it's so sad. So I was watching this film, and actually it was telling about drinking drugs, about the addictions to it, and I was absolutely amazed that someone can't just come off alcohol like that. It has to be weaned. The fear is if they stop straight away, they'll have a fit, which could lead to death. And for a legal drug, a legal high, I was quite amazed with that, really, truly amazed with that. We all need help at some point in our lives. It's never easy. And we all use different things to cope. We have different coping techniques. Some can turn out to be good ones. Some can turn out to be not so good, and has a damaging effect on our lives. I think we all start out with good intentions of just trying a little bit of this just to see if it will help. And when it has, we think we'll add to it, or the body becomes immune to it. And it becomes a major issue. It's great to have friends with you who can help you through these things and give you the support that you need. But life is never meant to be this hard. I was thinking about it earlier myself, that I'm becoming riddled with, every sickness there is, and sometimes you're just hanging on each day to breath. Other times life can actually be quite good, but it was never meant to be this hard. It has become so difficult for every one of us, and during this pandemic we're all in some way fearful of what can happen. Maybe not to ourselves, but definitely to our loved ones. And the vision that was to be life is so different from how we are actually living it. Life itself is a bit of a mystery, isn't it? We live each day and we plan careers, we plan marriages, and we're bringing up our kids. We have this long-term look about how we want to see our lives, and how we want to see our children grow, and how we want to see our children succeed, and bring into life things that they'll enjoy materially. And yet, life is a strange thing, because just like that, it can be gone. We read, was it yesterday, Sean Connery has now gone, 90-year-old, he's had a good life. But life can just be over so quickly. We don't see it coming. We can't prepare for it, even if we have news of it. It just goes. We have to realise that in our lives that tomorrow isn't promised to us. we have to realise that success isn't promised either. You don't get a life and told that you're going to have a good one. We wonder when we get that wee temperature that, is this COVID? Is this going to be a long-term illness? Is this maybe going to bring death to our door? We think if we start our wee business, is this going to thrive? Is this going to make money for us? Is this going to be a good move moving forward? For myself at this time, living off benefits, I'm wondering if my benefits will be reduced, if my ESA could be looked at, or PIP could be looked at, and it's like, will it be reduced with the amount of money that the government is spending out on people who paying for people's salaries? Will they cut back people on benefits? And that is a bit of a worry, trying to work out how you're going to live. Maybe your mum has early stage of dementia. What is moving forward going to be like? How will I cope with losing my mum? Maybe you're living in a home at the moment and you're suffering abuse from a partner who's not coping with being at home and being with the kids. You wonder, what can you do? You have to stay where you are because there's no option. Where do you go? You don't have the money. And the other one is, what if your kids are taken from you? I've got a friend around the corner who's 70 and he's dealing with MS, and he's looking at his days now, which he feels are numbered, with distraught. Is it going to be painful? Does he have to bring people in to look after him? He feels that will be humiliating if they have to care for his needs, his physical needs. And I think as people get older, it's lovely to hear of people who are in marriages that have lasted 50 years, 55 years. But for someone within that marriage, it must have that fear of what will happen when the day comes when one of them will pass. What will life look like from then? It will be a completely different shade for them. They have lived so long with this one person, and then suddenly the person is gone. But life's difficult, and we can't shy away from it. Sadly, whatever's going to occur in my life is going to be coming at me, and it's the same for all our lives. As I said earlier, friends are a good thing, and it reminded me of wait, I get a little help from my friends. But what do you do when you don't have friends? What do you do when you're isolated and people have pushed you aside or sent you to Coventry again, as they say in the old days? Apart from an imaginary friend, you may find yourself all alone. And a lot of people, single people, older people, are alone by death or by divorce. So, it's difficult. How do we do it? How do we get by? We feel so empty and we feel so alone. But as I said, the plan, or let's call it the master plan, was that you weren't meant to be alone. That was not the design. The design wasn't that you would be alone at any stage in your life. See, God created us, and he walked with Adam and Eve, and that was to be the plan of life, and they were to produce children in this earthly paradise, always having communion with the Lord. And that was the design. That's how we were to live, to never to be alone, to be one with the Father, to have love and to produce children. God doesn't have this access thing. You don't have to be a private member to get to him. You don't have to be on the special list to get through. He's always open. He's always there for you. It's estimated at the moment that there's something like 2.4 billion Christians in the world out of a world population, they reckon, about 7.5 billion. Well, I'll be perfectly honest with you, there are not 2.4 billion Christians in the world. There most definitely isn't. People who love the Lord, believe in him and live for him. Too many are religious rather than Christian. And what I want to make clear is this messages or talk shows here, not about the church, they're about a relationship with God. That's what's important. See, God created you for him. He doesn't want to be looking at your life from a distance. He wants to be part in your life, be part of your life every single day, in every way, in the good times and the bad times, when we're doing good things, when we're doing rotten things. Yes, I would prefer the Lord would shut his eyes when certain things that I've done in my life, but he's there. And that's the point of God. He's everywhere at once, and he's there with you as you are sitting in tears, considering taking your life. He's there, he's in the room. We just need to believe that. When you're lonely, he's there. When you're caught up in sin, he's there. When you're stuck begging for money as an addict, he's there. If you're sitting in jail for crimes or murder, he's there. When your marriage is falling apart and looking at divorce, he's there. When you get promoted at work, he's with you. When you're at the food bank feeling humiliated and graced, he's there feeling exactly the same way that you do. When we shut our eyes at night, he's there. As we sleep overnight, he's there. As we wake, he's there. He's never far from us. We don't have to run to him. We don't have to find him. He's there beside us every step of the way. He created life. It's his life. It's his responsibility. And his responsibility to us is that he was to love us and give us life, but we sinned against him. Our responsibility was to obey him, and we haven't. We haven't allowed him into our lives every day. There's never been a moment in your life from cradle to grave that he hasn't been there and he hasn't watched over you and he's never denied you. We deserve to be denied by him because we deny him in our lives each day, but he is with us. He promises, I will never leave you nor forsake you. He's always there. When we feel he isn't, he's there. When we feel he is, he's there. That is the God I believe in. Someone who carries my load with me each day within my life. The grace of God is this. He doesn't just want to watch you. He wants to live within inside you. And he does that in your heart and mind and soul when we give our lives to him and basically we just believe in his son and that God raised him from the dead. That is what faith is. Faith isn't, taking on about 100 different disciplines. It isn't about taking on thousands of commandments. It isn't about living this life with hail at the back of the head and a monk's cloak. It's just saying in your life each day, right, God, I know you're there. I trust you. Help me to come before you each day in my decisions. And that's all it is. That's what faith is. Faith is to be the essence of your life. It's to be the strength. It's to be there when you're hungry, when you need helped and loved and cared for. That's what faith is. The Christians don't carry faith very well at all with a big crap, but God does. God is always with us, and he does this through Jesus. Our world is in a mess. We're living in a pandemic which is just becoming chaotic. How they can justify not selling clothes. I also saw that a lady went into Tesco's to get her fanny pads, basically. The words just left me. Forgive me for the French. And they wouldn't sell it to her. I mean, what was she to do, eh? But the bath plug inside her, I don't think so. But we can live with certainty that each and every day and in every way and in every step and in every decision that God is with us. He is there he promised to be with us and to never leave us. We can live with him watching us, where he is someone we might not believe in, or we might believe in maybe something's there, or we can live with him in us as he not just watches, that he goes through each step of every day with us. He goes through the joys and through the pains. He feels your sorrow. And he knows sorrow because his son was given to give us life. I just ask that we all in our lives each day would just, even a simple prayer, Lord, I know you're there, be with me today. And that's really what I would ask, and that's where faith begins. Just trusting that he is there, and in the hard times, that is when it's even harder to feel his presence, but the promise is he's still there. That's drunk as a skunk, and again I just want to point you to two verses, John 3:16, Romans 10:9. That's the way to salvation. It's not through me, it's not through church, it's through Jesus Christ. It's through belief and the love of God and the grace of Jesus Christ and then dwelling of the Holy Spirit. And sadly my words have been not too great tonight. I need to stop recording these at night because my brain goes foggy and I end up coming out with which I really shouldn't. But I do hope this helps. I do hope it speaks to you. And my peppermint teas went cold, so I'm going to drink it. Take care. Till next time.